What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar, where we're going to be breaking down the ES futures contract from top down. We're going to look at our monthly, look at our weekly, look at our daily, and then we're going to look at the 30-minute time frame today, our market profile, and just kind of review what happened today. I did not trade today, as I've had a really good week, and today being Friday, I did not want to give it back, so just decided let the market do what it wants to do, and it'll be here Monday when I get back. So. Hopefully you all had a wonderful day. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Excuse me. So monthly, one time framing down, been one time framing down 2 months in a row. But we've been setting lower highs and lower lows on the monthly for the past 3 months. Is the market getting stretched here? We kind of have to ask ourselves that. So far, the answer is no. We continue to move lower and lower. The market continues to drift lower, and as long as it's doing that, it's not really stretching that much. But you do have to keep your eye on it. As we come to an end, we have 2 more trading days left in the month before we start the month of November. So we have 2 more trading days left in the month, and then we'll see what happens in November, whether we continue to one-time frame down, or do we stop it, maybe have an inside month, and then come the month of December, we begin to potentially put ourselves back into a balance, or even one time frame up potentially. Who knows? All this is in speculation. But going forward, we continue to one time frame down, and we target the rest of these lows. We targeted June's low earlier this month, and we got that. And now we look to target May's low. May's low was 40.6225. That is kind of where we held before we decided to boom, pop up. And then if we get below 40.6225 or below the 4,000 level and find acceptance back within this range here, then you can kiss your Santa Claus rally goodbye. You can pretty much kiss the Santa Claus rally goodbye, but it's also not too late for this market to turn around and potentially get a little bit of a rally up. But right now, not looking so good. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly. Excuse me, my throat is all scratchy. Weekly, outside week down, successful, very successful for the sell side. That's pretty much all we did for the majority of the week, excluding the one day we had a bit of a short covering rally and a little bit of momentum buying come into the market. Other than that, it's been one time framing down nonstop, just drifting lower, and we targeted that low today at 41.14. That was May 22nd's low that we were shooting for today, and we got pretty close to it. We got down to 41.2225. We got near that low, but didn't quite get that other weekly low. So going forward next week, we look to see if the one-time framing down on the weekly continues. That being taking out this week's low, 41.2225. If we do that, the weekly continues to one-time frame down. You'll most likely target 41.14, and then you'll look to target this other weekly low at 40.6099, or excuse me, 40.6225, which was May's low. So if you get 41.14, you'll most likely go and test that 4,000 level. And there is a gap right around that same area, and we'll look at that on the daily here in just a second. The only way we can stop anything as far as one time framing down goes is if we take out a previous week's high, right? So maybe next week we come into a balance by just having an inside week. Then we take it out the following week, and then the rest of the month of November we were working on coming out of or creating a balance here, and then finding acceptance back up in the balance. But keep in mind, we are stair stepping down. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. That continues to be the scene as of right now. So for me, nothing changes until we take out a previous weekly high. And then on the daily, let's go ahead and bring up our daily balance. We were in a balance. We stretched it just slightly, is what I said. Most other people, you might have called it down, but we are all now on the same page. One time framing down 2 or 3 days in a row now, however you want to look at it. Volume, okay. not the best. You want to see volume begin to pick up. But look at the extension below the previous day's low, kind of slowing down, not as far, not as long. So maybe the trend on the shorter time frame is slowing down a little bit, but we are one time framing down. We got that other daily target low of 41.3750. Your next daily target on the low side, it was that 41.14. So as far as low days go, 41.14 is the next target. That's where all these wicks were. That's where we had this gap up. And then I do have that gap here highlighted. That gap starts at 41.1150 and gets filled at 40.9825. So that's where that gap gets filled. Do we get into that gap, or do we hold here and then maybe look to stop the one-time firming down by taking out today's high? If we take out today's high come Monday, then we'll be looking to put the daily back into an initial 3-day balance, or even a 4-day, depending on how much we push up. But as of right now, daily continues to one-time frame down, and we are targeting this balance low here, or not balance low, excuse me, this gap here that starts at 41.11, and also that other daily low at 41.14. So that is what we're going to be shooting for on the downside. Firmly below the 200-day moving average, firmly below the 20, firmly below the 50. Look at the lower highs and lower lows. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Maybe we get a little bit of a rally up into these moving averages, create another lower high, and roll back over. That is a potential in the future. I could see that. And I can also see that this market just continues to drift lower and lower. So like I said, nothing stops until we stop the one-time framing down on the daily by taking out a previous daily high. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the 30-minute time frame today. Run over this real quick, as today was a very accommodating trade on the short side once we got to go double distribution. Now this is where I say the trend might be slowing down. Today we had, for the most part, unchanged value for the first 6 time frames of the day. We did nothing but chop around inside of the previous day's range. Got the initial balance low early on. We got the overnight low early on, rallied, got the initial balance high, and value was unchanged. So sellers had the bigger picture in their favor. They had the overnight low, they had the initial balance low, so 2 big things in their favor. Buyers only had value being unchanged at the moment and the initial balance high. That is the first 2 time frames, high and low. So A's high, B's low. They took out both sides of it. Eventually, this market decided to roll over and at least test the previous day's low. Once we got below it, we went trend down, creating a set of single prints. So once we took out the previous day's low, we went trend down, creating a set of single prints where you see that gap right here in volume, creating a double distribution day. So come Monday, we'll treat each distribution as its own day. What I'm highlighting here is the 2 distributions, and what is in between is a gap, right? You'll treat them as 2 different days. So the upper distribution being from 41.7675 to 41.47, the lower distribution being 41.1450 to 41.2225. All right, so double distribution day. We go out with just the high, the low, and a set of single prints. So if for anything to change, buyers need to work their way back up into this upper distribution and take out today's high come Monday at 41.7650. If they do that, we'll put ourselves back into a balance, and value would go from overlapping the lower to unchanged potentially, or from overlapping the lower to overlapping the higher, or even unchanged at that point. And that would show that the trend, at least in the short term, on our shortest time frame here on the 30-minute and on our daily, would begin to change. So if we open up in the lower distribution, 41.4250 is the defense zone for the sellers, right? You don't want to see us get back into that upper distribution. So you want to see sellers step in between 42.50 and 47. You get above that and find acceptance back into this upper distribution. The game is over on the short side. Shorts will most likely begin to cover. Momentum buying will most likely begin to start, and you'll go target that other daily high. However, If we do find defense there and buyers are not aggressive, you'll look to take out today's low at 41.2225, target that 41.14 low of day, and then look to get into the gap that was around 41.1150 and fills at 40.9825. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.